Why I added this lens in our armamentarium, because this sometimes we come across with the patients who have had a residual refractive error in the previously operated eye, and with this beautifully operated eye by the surgeon, they come and they say that they want good vision in the previously operated eye, or we come across with some surprises in our day-to-day practice also. So that is the reason patient also is willing, and we can also correct their residual refractive errors. So this is my experience with these add-on IOLs, and we come across with such patients quite frequently in our OPD. The various options are whether we can do IOL exchange, we can do corneal refractive surgery, and we can do piggyback IOL, which could be a regular biconvex or a Selcoflex IOL. Various demerits are there. IOL exchange can be done in the early post-operative period only, because if we have to wait, then it is difficult to remove the IOL because a lot of adhesions have been formed. And secondly, it's a traumatic surgery. Trauma to the surrounding structures can occur, and to the wound as well. So it is not that rewarding. The corneal refractive surgery is again a good procedure, but the thing is that we need to have a excimer laser, which is quite expensive, and not everyone has got it. And the accuracy is not that much expected in the elderly age group patients, and they can develop dry eye problems also, which can be added onto it. And routine piggyback lenses, like regular biconvex lenses, have their own problems, like the presence of the formation of interlentular membrane. And the hyperopic defocus occurs when the two lenses are in contact with each other. So Selcoflex lens is a good option, which is a specially designed lens, has got a 6.5 millimeter optic diameter and a round optic edge with a low rate of dysphotopsia. Undulating haptic design with angulation and round edge ensures IOL centration and rotational stability. And there is a good UVL clearance. And it has got an aberration neutral aspheric optics, and it is made up of hydrophilic acrylic material with high UVL biocompatibility. It can be used in post-surgical ametropia and correction of refractive change following periodic implantation. Maybe we can use two IOLs initially, and after some time when the refraction has reduced with the age, we can remove one IOL. We can enhance the monovision. Maybe we can put one IOL, make one eye slightly myopic. The advantage is it reduces the surgical risks of IOL exchange, as I have already told, and avoids problems of conventional piggyback IOLs. It's a reversible alternative to laser enhancement and creates a reversible option for primary add-on implantation or a duet implantation. It is available in the tone of -5 to +5 diopters in a 0.5 diopters as increments. And we can correct up to 1 diopter, so even 0.5 diopters, and even pure cylinder can also be corrected. They have a toric model, and multifocal lenses are also available, and which is based on a refractive principle. I have selected few contraindications where I will not do in these kind of cases. When the anterior chamber is shallower than 3 millimeter, when the patient is having active inflammatory disorder, corneal endothelium is decompensated, there is a malposition or unstable back fixation, fixated previous lens, or inability to dilate the pupil, when there is inability to achieve secure sulcus placement, a patient is having angle closure glaucoma, and the eye is microphthalmos, and then for the multifocal IOL, the regular contraindications. I will be sharing one case which is 63 years old lady, and with a PCIOL white eyes, and in the left eye the residual refractive error is plus 4.5 with 1.5 cell. Highly dissatisfied with left eye vision. Right eye vision was done, IOL was done at our place, and she had a 6/9 vision with slight correction. So we planned the case for the Selcoflex lens. The surgery is very simple. It takes hardly 2 minutes to inject the lens after filling the chamber with viscoelastic, and the incision size required is 2.8 to 3 millimeter. And this lens sits inside, glides inside very easily, and it covers the previously operated previous lens, and that's the reason why there is a clear. This is the post-operative picture of this. This is the lens Selcoflex lens, and this is the biconvex lens. The pentacam picture, you can see images of two lenses here, and this is a slit lamp picture of the same lens. Another case with the residuals -7 diopters with 2 diopters slit, and patient had only cylindrical power in the left eye after the surgery with 6/9 correction. So -10 diopters lens was injected in this. Again, this was a PMMA lens which was placed preoperatively. And for this, so in variety of lenses, maybe previously the patient had a hydrophilic acrylic lens or a PMMA lens or hydrophobic lens, it doesn't matter. Earlier, we used to say that two lenses in the biconvex lens, they should be of a different variety that will save all the problems which are encountered with this lens. But with this lens, there is no such contraindication. You can use it any kind of lens which has been there previously. So just push it, dilate, and in this particular case, I was expecting that the chamber is going to be shallow, so we have done the peripheral iodectomy here, and this is how this is going to be covered by the lid with the retractor. Just we do that. Nowadays, they recommend that in all cases it should be done. This is the post-op case, how it appears. Another case with residual 5 diopters of astigmatism, 1 month later with 1 diopter cylinder, 6/9 vision. This is how previous lens was there, PMMA lens. 7 years back, the patient was operated upon this eye. We have the patient had a lenticular synechia, so we have released them and created a space. And to begin with, I think these things should be avoided, and these kind of cases. This is our recent case, and I have an experience of more than 2 years post-operative, and all these cases they get quite. I get quite very early post-operative, 4 to 6 weeks only, and they don't come to us with the problems. And 2 years, maximum 2 years, this follow-up is there of these cases, and they are doing well. You can push the lens in the sulcus, and PI is also done in this case too, so that the patient should not have glaucoma in the post-operative period. So this is how this has got a larger haptic, and overall lens size is also large, and optic size is also large. So it is a slightly bulky lens, but nevertheless it is very helpful. This patient had -8.5 diopters with -2 diopter sil, 6/12 vision. Post-operatively, only cylindrical power is left. So post-op refractive prediction is very good, and patient has improved 1 line too. This is the lens. Surgery is reusably uneventful, and how we can load the lens, it's on a foldable platform. So just tuck the lens, push it, dilate inside, and it's not a big deal, and anybody can do. So it's certainly much more safer and superior than the other procedure like IOL exchange. And the last case, this girl, 25 years old, had a multifocal IOL in one eye, left eye, and the right eye, she went to someone else and they planted monofocal IOL. 2 months later, she came to us with the uncorrected vision of 636, residual refractive error of +3 diopters with 2.5 near red, which she required for 6/6 and 6 vision because the IOL was monofocal. So there was a residual refractive error of +3 diopters, and other eye was multifocal. So she was very happy with that, and she didn't had any multifocal vision or near vision in this eye. So we planned. This is how the eye appeared. In just 2 months' time, you see so much of adhesions were there, so we cannot do IOL explantation or IOL exchange. And they have tried some opening also has been created in the posterior capsule. So what we have done is we have first enlarged this opening with the retractor. We have not done YAG capsulotomy for the simple reason that if any pits occur, they can decrease the quality of vision, because here in this particular case we have done a multifocal IOL. So we have enlarged this opening of the posterior in the posterior capsule, and then we will be injecting a multifocal IOL. So this has based on the refract platform, and a multifocal IOL is implanted. So one can use toric, multifocal or regular aspheric IOL and rehabilitate the patient. So to the brighter side of this is that it's a safe and simple, unlike laser explantation is possible. That's the reason it's a reversible technique and it is less traumatic than IOL exchange, and it is made up of a biocompatible implant, and follow-up of 20,000 patients has been there in the world over, and post-op results are high refractive predictability and no interlenticular haze. The downside is intraocular surgery, so we have to be careful. The chances of infection and all are there. And iridotomy in short eyes and in pediatric eyes is required. So, and not 100% the rotational stability is not been seen. Maybe after 4 years or 3 years or 5 years down the line, let us see how the toric IOL behaves. And it is based on the refractive multifocal IOL platform, unlike regular IOLs nowadays is available on diffractive platform. These are various references. In my opinion, it's the Sulcoflex side-on lens is a good option for secondary metropia correction. And as a primary dual lens implantation, it's a surgically less challenging, predictable results. Post-operative quiet eyes, it's a reversible option, and proper patient selection is to be remembered. I thank you for your patient hearing. And